Yeah, absolutely. But I think it's super important to touch on, not just the trainings themselves, but the way you present them. And again, I kind of touched a little bit on it, but making sure you are aware of your audience, at least hyper aware of your audience, I should say, because it's very easy for us to remember that we know all of the exports and filters like the back of our hands, but I just did a training that I'll talk about probably in a little bit here, this last retreat, which was just last week, where I realized some of our recruiters had never even heard of one of the filters I was asking them to utilize. And it's a pretty standard basic filter, but it was transfer specific, and most of our recruiters used
Mm.
to be freshman specific only and had just taken on some transfer roles. So, even I learn in these moments to where to adjust or, oh, hey, they need more training on this aspect of query building, not the wide view, but we need to target more of, things like oh, maybe they're getting confused between an export and a filter, and we have to bring it back to basics, or format masks. They're wondering why everything's in military time, or, things of that nature. So I think the presentation of the training, regardless of if it's, again, should try and keep it more engaging. I can generally say that people will not retain if you talk at them. They're going to tone out. They're going to be on their laptop. They're going to be on their phone. They're not going to retain it. And you can't retain query training, in my opinion, specifically by talking at someone. That's just not how it works. You got to do it. Um, but making sure that you're doing it at the skill level for the folks that you're actually training. And you have to, for us, kind of go back to like Launchpad, if you had Launchpad, uh, going way back here, uh, days, or your first days in Slate when you were the captains developing, or not even developing, just learning Slate for the first time if you weren't on the developing team, and just kind of bring it to that basic level. And it sometimes almost feels like you're putting together an elementary school plan, and you feel like you might be talking down, but that you're not talking down, you're getting to their level. And that's the important piece. Because if you're training on too high of a level, they're not going to retain that either, because they're going to like, this is too hard. I'm just going to ask for help when I need it. Right. So just finding that really big, good balance for the presentation of that training, um, is also super, super important, and you shouldn't be neglected. Honestly, that should be kind of the baseline of where you're starting, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and always hard because it's not always like it's not usually like a one-on-one training. So trying to like, okay, there's this kind of like this is the average skill level. Some
Right.
people might be up here, some are down here. So kind of being able to present in an interesting way a training that is actually effective to everybody is tricky.
Yeah. Well, and to your point too, like, with the hyper awareness of the back end of Slate, and making sure you don't bring that into the training. They don't need to know, oh, this is doing that all the time. Sometimes it will help if that's part of their role and understanding the flow of an automation, or, I do like to strip back the curtain sometimes and show them how staff assignments work, because they're always like, this isn't my school. And I was like, well, there's 17 rules running your thing, and there might be a missing zip code somewhere, so we got to find it, right? But generally, just making sure you're not getting too deep into the weeds, or utilizing terminology. We talk about this for students, don't use higher ed terminology to an 18-year-old, right? But same kind of for us. Don't use too much data systems speak when you're talking to a recruiter or a director or a reporting, member of leadership. So, yeah, I think that's just kind of how you should at least start your baseline, right?
Yeah, and then there's gonna be people who like take to it, and then you can work with them and mentor them, take them, and yeah. But these broader trainings,
Yeah.
just yeah, you gotta it's the four quadrants. You just gotta really get your audience.
Exactly.
So you've used retreats and escape rooms and the Great British Bake Off. What have you found most surprising about what actually helps build team and actually train them at the same time?